I don't remember when birthdays started to mean something. I just remember when mine stopped meaning anything at all. In my class, birthdays were always loud. Someone would bring cupcakes, someone would bring balloons. Sometimes even the teacher would smile and say something special. The room would change for a moment. People felt seen. I learned early which days mattered and which ones didn't. Every few weeks, someone else's birthday came around. Girls gathering around a desk, boys laughing too loudly, phones out, photos taken, and every time I watched it happen. Not with jealousy, with confusion. Because I was there too. I always showed up. But when my birthday came, nothing changed. No cupcakes, no balloons, no quiet happy birthday whispered in the hallway. The day passed like it was any other, and the first time it happened, I told myself it was fine. Maybe they forgot. Maybe it wasn't a big deal. Maybe I didn't make it obvious enough. The second year, I didn't say anything at all. I waited, I watched, I hoped. Still nothing. That's when something shifted. Not outside, inside. Birthdays aren't just about cake. They're about confirmation. About someone remembering that you exist, that your presence matters enough to mark a day. When you're a child, you don't have the words for that. You just feel it, like a small weight sitting somewhere in your chest. I started pretending birthdays were stupid. I rolled my eyes when other people talked about theirs. I told myself I didn't care. And for a while that worked. But the truth was, I cared deeply. Each time another birthday was celebrated, something else happened too. I learned where I stood. Not in the center, not even on the edges, somewhere invisible. At home, birthdays weren't much different. There was a quick, happy birthday in the morning, maybe a small cake at night. No conversations, no questions, no feeling that the day was about me, so school became the place where it hurt the most. Because that's where comparisons happen. That's where you see what other people receive, and what you don't. I started noticing patterns. Who was popular, who got attention, who was remembered, and who wasn't. Slowly, I stopped expecting anything. Expectations are dangerous when they're never met. Instead, I became quiet. Not shy, just smaller. I learned how to take up less space. I stopped raising my hand, stopped sharing opinions, stopped mentioning personal things. Because why offer something no one asks for? But inside, something else was growing. Resentment. Not loud, not obvious, just a quiet bitterness. I started feeling uncomfortable during other people's celebrations. I smiled, I clapped. But inside, I felt detached, like I wasn't really part of the room. Over time, this turned into something else. A belief that I wasn't worth celebrating. And beliefs like that don't stay in one place. They leak into how you speak, how you walk, how you see yourself. I became overly independent. I told myself I didn't need anyone, that relying on people was weak, that expecting kindness was naive. I also became overly sensitive. A small joke felt personal. A forgotten message felt intentional. Because when you already feel unseen, everything confirms it. I watched how other girls acted, how they laughed loudly, how they demanded attention, and part of me hated that. Another part of me envied it, but I never became like them. I went the opposite direction. I disappeared. Teachers described me as easy, quiet, well-behaved, no trouble, but no one asked why. The truth is, being ignored repeatedly doesn't just hurt, it reshapes you. I stopped celebrating myself, stopped believing I deserved space, stopped thinking my presence mattered. And that followed me everywhere. Friendships, relationships, even dreams. I learned to lower expectations before anyone else could. I learned to downplay my own importance. Because disappointment hurts less when you expect nothing. But the loneliness doesn't go away, it just gets quieter. Sometimes I imagine what it would have felt like. Someone remembering, someone saying my name, someone bringing something small and saying, "This is for you." Not because it's a birthday, but because it's me. I don't blame my classmates. Children don't plan neglect, they follow attention. But the impact is real, and it stays. Even now, I struggle with being celebrated. Compliments make me uncomfortable. Attention feels suspicious. Part of me is always waiting for it to disappear, because for years it always did. I'm telling this story because I know I'm not alone. There are others like me. People who learned early that silence was safer, that expecting nothing was protection. But it shouldn't have to be that way. No child should learn they're forgettable. Sometimes the deepest wounds aren't loud. They're quiet. They show up in the spaces where something should have happened, but didn't.
When we talk about childhood neglect, people often imagine extremes, violence, abandonment, obvious trauma. But this story reminds us of something quieter, something far more common, being consistently overlooked. For a child, birthdays are not trivial. They are symbolic. They represent recognition, belonging, validation. When a child repeatedly watches others being celebrated while they are ignored, the message becomes internalized. Not consciously, but emotionally. This moment isn't for me. Over time, these small moments accumulate. They form beliefs, and beliefs shape behavior. This student didn't become disruptive. She became invisible. That's an important distinction, because quiet suffering is often mistaken for resilience. In reality, it's adaptation. Children adapt to environments that don't meet their emotional needs. They lower expectations. They suppress expression. They minimize themselves. The psychological impact of repeated exclusion is profound. It affects self-worth, identity, attachment. This student learned that visibility leads to disappointment, so she chose invisibility. While this may protect against immediate pain, it creates long-term consequences: difficulty receiving affection, discomfort with attention, fear of being seen. The absence of celebration taught her that she was not worth noticing. That belief then influenced how she showed up in relationships. She did not demand care. She did not ask for space. She learned to survive quietly. For educators and caregivers, this story is a reminder. Not all wounds announce themselves. Some sit quietly in the back of the room. Intervention does not always require grand gestures. Sometimes it requires noticing, remembering, acknowledging. A simple happy birthday can matter more than we realize. For this student, healing begins with relearning visibility, understanding that attention does not always disappear, that recognition does not always come with loss. And for families, this is a reminder. Consistency matters. Presence matters. Celebration matters. Children do not need perfection. They need acknowledgement. For students who recognize themselves in this story, you were never invisible. You were overlooked. And those are not the same thing. Your worth was never defined by who remembered your birthday, and it is not too late to reclaim your space. Sometimes healing begins with allowing yourself to be seen, even when it feels uncomfortable.